a massive welcome to all you guys on the call. Um, we're super excited today because it's also National Apprenticeship Week, as I'm sure you are aware. But we're also very excited to be launching our brand new Safeguarding Support Officer Apprenticeship. So we are one of the first providers to market on this program. We actually had 6 learners start last month as part of our pilot, and we're launching our first ever cohort on this one towards the end of February as well. So we're going to give you some more information about how your organisation can also get involved in that as well. And of course, it is Valentine's Day, and it's a time for us to recognise that our learners are at the heart of everything we do. And hopefully that will come through today from Anita as well. So just to kind of go through some introductions as well. So my name's Jamie McVey. I am the Sales and Marketing Director here at LMP. And I'm really pleased to be joined today by my colleague Anita, who is our Head of Safeguarding here at LMP Group. And Anita has a really, really important role here, not just to keep our staff safe, but also the thousands of learners that we have all over England in different organisations as well. So we're going to be hearing some really cool insights from Anita as well. And we are very proud as an organisation as well to hold the Leaders in Safeguarding Gold accreditation, which Anita's been a massive part of as well. And I'm sure Anita can share some insights into how we managed to achieve that accreditation as well. So before we get started and kind of diving into our new programme, um, I thought I'd just introduce LMP Group. So hopefully some of you on the call, I can see some of our clients are on the call as well, which is great to see. You might already know who we are, but for those that don't, um, we are LMP Group. So LMP Education, Inspire ATA, and LMP Action. And all of our companies have that collective mission, which is to inspire ambition. We provide opportunities and support social change across the UK. And we really do focus in on education and social impact as well. And we serve schools, multi-academy trusts, businesses, as well as individuals nationwide. And that's what I was speaking about when I talk about how Anita keeps our thousands of learners safe all over England. We are very much aligned by our 4 core values, as well as our LMP star there as well. So you might have seen that LMP star across social media, particularly this week with National Apprenticeship Week there as well. In terms of us as a group, we have 4 main service areas. Obviously, apprenticeships, that's something we're going to be talking today as we launch our brand new programme. But we are a award-winning apprenticeship training agency. We do specialise in working with organisations of all sizes to upskill their existing staff through career pathways, through funded training, but also we offer a free direct recruitment service as well, using the power of apprenticeships. We also run Inspire ATA. Inspire ATA is one of 15 flexi job apprenticeship agencies across the UK. It's also award winning. You can see one of the awards, it's the best apprenticeship employer at the moment. Through that company, what we do is we actually hire the apprentice, we train them through LMP Education, and then we host them out into a school or a business. And employers love this model because actually it gives you that flexibility to take on a apprentice without having to hire them directly as well. We also run short courses as well, so through our adult education budget. So we have hundreds of short courses that are free and fully funded for adults that live in certain postcodes all over England. And that's for those that are 19 plus as well. And then we also run alternative education provision. So I did notice there's a few schools that are on there as well. But I think it's good for you to understand that we also don't just work in the post-16 sector. We do also have people and young people on our books through our alternative education provision. So if some of those schools that are on the call right now, if that's something you're also looking into, please do feel free to reach out afterwards. So that's enough about us, I believe. Obviously, everything we're going to talk about today is fun. If you are sitting there now thinking, oh, am I a levy payer? Am I not? Not to worry. We're going to go through some funding rules now. I'm not going to go through all the rules, because you can obviously see them on the screen now. You can see them as we play back. But effectively, if you are a apprenticeship levy payer, the course would be fully funded through your organisation's apprenticeship levy. And a levy payer is defined as a business that has a payroll of £3 million or more. And I think the key thing here is a lot of organisations we work with, they actually have funds expiring every month, because after 24 months, if you have not used that money, you will lose it, and it goes back in to Treasury as well. So I think it's really important you do have a good structure in place. You manage that pot through a thing called the Digital Apprenticeship Service Account. Again, the LMP team here can help you set that up if you have not done that already. And if you're not a levy payer, or if you have run out of levy funds, again, not to worry, because the government would actually fund 95% of the training as well. So in terms of you as an applicant, there's no cost to you at all. If you're an employer, everything we talk about today is going to be fully funded through the levy. So that's just a real quick overview of us and the funding rules. But the real important thing today, and the exciting safeguarding support officer to talk you through the program. So we're going to spend the next sort of 20 minutes going through the program in terms of what that includes. We're then going to come back on at the end to have a good discussion around what this means for the sector, and also how you can get involved and hopefully answer some of the questions that you might have as well. So please do use that Q&A function for questions that come into your head throughout the session, and I'll come back on towards the end to ask them. But for now, if I can hand over to you, please, Anita.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Hopefully we've tested this and hopefully you'll be able to see my screen. If Can you see my screen? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, yeah.
So just to recap on what Jamie said, just a little bit of an overview of this qualification. I, for one, I'm so excited about the recognition that we now have within safeguarding for this qualification. So as James just mentioned, it's new, it's funded, and you can see there it's looking to develop safeguarding for a career pathway. So, it's not everybody's first choice in a job role, but we now want to see that as being a good job role and a good pathway. So just to recap how it's going to look, it's a level 3, which is great. It is blended learning. So there's online learning, there will be webinars. Jamie's going to share some news about the first webinar. It's over an 18-month period. So the actual standard will last about 12 to 13 months. And then we then prepare learners for EPA, our endpoint assessment. We talk about endpoint assessment all of the time because it's important that that individual who's participating in the qualification understands that, yes, there is this happening at the end. The other thing as an added value is that all learners will have access to myself to be able to have professional discussions in a safe place, to be able to support in between the tutor, the employer, and obviously, what we want them to do is to achieve at the end of their qualification a distinction. So what kind of person are we looking for? Again, this is not aimed at education, it's not aimed at early years, it's aimed at public, private and voluntary sector organisations. So safeguarding touches everybody's business, and this qualification is based on what works for you. So whilst there are some core units, actually we want to know what your employee is learning about and how your safeguarding structure works in your organisation. A little bit more important that the individual that is undertaking this has a bit of understanding around what they need to know. So they do need to be a point of contact. They need to be able to access and maintain records and information. So that individual, as an example, if you use an online platform like CPOMS or My Concern, they will need to have an element of access to that to be able to demonstrate some of the skills, knowledges and behaviours. They need to be able to support employees within their organisation, but also outside of that, contribute to any preparation for any external partner meetings. In addition to that, they would need to be able to present training, prepare content, newsletters, to be able to assist whoever that main person is. And if they are going to be the main person, it's important that, that we're able to see demonstration of, skills in presenting and sharing knowledge. And the most important one for me is contributing and preparing for external and internal audits or inspections as required. So again, lots of businesses and lots of local authorities, schools, childcare, care, we all have governing bodies. So it's about preparing that piece. And if we don't, we'll be looking at how that apprentice can actually share good practice with, low level audits as an example, and also hopefully introduce to leaders in safeguarding to be able to see, what accreditations are available for them. So a little bit about the course content. So there are 15 duties that the individual will need to be able to demonstrate their understanding. And I'm not going to go through all 15, but just highlighted a couple. So duty 4, you can see there, is reporting safeguarding allegations involving staff to senior leaders. So in basic terms, that's allegations against staff members. So what's the process? What does it say in the policy? Do you need to write a policy? Do we work with HR? What is the local authority stance? What's the governance around that? So demonstrating how, if you're in that situation, what you would do. The next 15 duties you can see on your screen. So I've picked duty 10. Be able to give information, advice and guidance to colleagues, maybe other adults such as parents or carers, making sure that that's in line with safeguarding policies and procedures. As Jamie just mentioned at the beginning, we do hold short ideal time. If you're interested in joining this next cohort, we do have an information and guidance short course, which I have undertaken myself, and it's a really quick way of gaining a quick level 2 qualification. So again, do reach out to us. We've then got the last duties you can see on your screen, and I've picked duty 12 for this because it's always good to be reflective, and your business may have a system such as we use My Concern, and it always asks, we always fill in what lessons were learned, so you can be reflective of practice. So what we would aim to see with the apprentice is that we see that their knowledge, information and how they deal with concerns actually develops throughout the qualification. So it might be really basic at the start. By the time that they've learned all of these duties, they will be able to be really competent in doing this particular duty. As with all of our standards, our apprenticeships, they have 3 different key areas to look at. So we have our knowledge. So you can see on your screen, this is knowledge 29, 30 and 31. So those knowledges are embedded into the duties. And it's really important that that's what we need to make sure that the apprentice knows. And if they don't know, we use videos, articulate, professional discussions, research as an example. Then how do they implement that knowledge? So the skills, so the day-to-day work, getting their line manager to give a reflective account on practice as an example. Actually, how do they respond to a concern? What's your practice within your establishment? And then we have behaviours. So this is a key element for me because this is how we should be behaving as a safeguarding lead. As you can see there, treat people fairly, with dignity and respect, making sure our own personal views are not part of that outcome. So all of those duties and all the skills and knowledges have been embedded into our modules, and I'm not going to go but you can see here on your screen, these are the modules and the little computer icon. We use a system called Articulate, and that is basically an online learning book. So we have everything on there, all the links, resources, top tips, good scenarios, and the modules allow us to gain that evidence holistically through professional discussion, as mentioned, through written, through presentations, through examples, and obviously confidentially, we won't take information about individuals that those concerns have been about. Obviously, we'll make sure that all of that information is taken out. At the beginning, I talked about the end, at the endpoint assessment. So we have the first element is a presentation, as you can see on your screen, that will last about 45 minutes, and it will be produced that you have gained throughout that qualification. After the presentations, the independent assessor will ask about 8 questions. We don't have any guidance on what that looks like at the moment, but we would be talking about this and presentations at the very end. The second element is a professional discussion underpinned by a portfolio of evidence. So the portfolio of evidence starts from the first task. So everything is gathered throughout the 12 months to then present at least between 8 and 12 pieces of work. And in this professional discussion, it will last about 60 minutes, and there will be 12 questions. And those questions will be set at, this is what we need for this level, this is what we need to hear as an extension. The outcomes, as mentioned, so once that endpoint assessor has observed the presentation, had answered the questions, and also then had the professional discussion, with this qualification, there are 4 outcomes. We obviously don't want to see a fail. We want to be able to see passes, and a new introduction of a level is a merit, and that merit may then turn into a distinction. So, it's a really good qualification with good outcomes, but also you gain the recognition of being a professional with a affiliated qualification. So I'm going to move on back to Jamie.
Excellent. I think am I sharing now? Brilliant. Thank you, Anita. Some great insights there. And just to mention as well, we are going to go and dive a bit deeper into what Anita just mentioned about our program, and Rachel, who just come through on the Q&A. Yes, we are going to be sending out the recording, but also there's slides as well after this session. Probably going to get them on Monday now as well. So just to also mention as well, so obviously we've just gone over the EPA, but we are also going to be holding masterclasses from industry experts as well, for this program. So not only will you be having sessions from Anita, who's very well, in terms of experience, but we also have John Needham also lined up at the moment for our first guest speaker as part of this program. And John runs a extensive network of safeguarding professionals within schools and trusts at the minute as well. So we are looking for more guest speakers to be lined up as well. If you do want more information about the program as well, we're going to send that out. But also on our website, we do have a dedicated page for this as well. So there is a brochure on there. There is a button on there, so you can book a call in with a member of the team to ask any further questions that you might have as well. But our first cohort, our first big cohort, we're looking to start on the 27th of Feb as well. And we have a waiting list at the minute for that program. But we also are going to have further cohorts as well throughout the year, because I do recognise that's only a few weeks away for some people as well. Cool. So I'm going to move to the Q&A shortly. So please keep those questions coming. I can see the questions that are coming in from the audience at the minute, which is fantastic to see, which I'll go through in a minute with Anita. Just to also mention, this week this is our sixth webinar this week. Can you believe it? And what we've done is we have recorded all these sessions. So if you have not seen these sessions or you want to watch them back, please do scan that QR code there, and it will take you to a web page where all of the recordings are on there as well, so you can see them. So I'm now going to move to our Q&A. But before I do, I just wanted to share a few thoughts around why we think all organisations should be utilising apprenticeships. So firstly, staff retention, investing in your own. And I know, Anita, we spoke, didn't we, before about how big your team actually is now, in terms of that team, and actually putting them on and through some good training like this, potentially in the future will help to keep them with us and retain them and keep them happy. Development and career pathways. So we actually have another 20 different programs that are all funded that we can actually help you build career pathways for your existing staff. That could be anything from leadership, management pathways. If you're in a school, it could be a teaching assistant pathway from level 3 all the way up to level, eventually a qualified teacher, wherever it might be. Recruitment of support staff as well. So we have a national recruitment team. A lot of our clients use us to attract talent in. Okay, and they do that by making sure that all of their support staff roles become apprenticeship opportunities. And again, our recruitment service is totally free for any of our clients. So it's really important that you do make good use of that as well. And think about this role, the safeguarding support officer. This is an ideal role to recruit into to grow your current safeguarding provision. And then financial efficiency. Over the last 6 months, especially with a change of government. But actually, one thing that's never changed is the NI savings that you can actually see for anybody aged 25 and under. If you were to upskill them onto an apprenticeship program or recruit them in, you don't actually pay national insurance on a certain threshold for them. And I think on average, you can save about £3,000 per person. So just a few little points there. So what I'm now going to do is I'm now going to move through to our Q&A section. So keep those questions coming. So Anita, I know we've been working and you've had some big input into the curriculum for this particular program. Now that there's this funded offer in the safeguarding world, just what are your thoughts on it?
I think it's very exciting. I think it's good recognition of how important that the role is within the business and the industries that we work in. I think also, our colleagues within the safeguarding industry, when you do your CPD, there's some fantastic safeguarding leaders, but there's never really a level 3 formal qualification that's recognised. So I think that this is a real big start. As you know, my background is also early years. So, you need your EYE practitioner's qualification to be included in ratio as an example. I would love for this to be, something that, as an example, Ofsted would look at and think, yes, that organisation, that educational establishment, as an example, really is putting safeguarding at the forefront.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We always talk about this at LMP, about safeguarding being everybody's responsibility. And I think this program kind of creates that awareness and ensures that your staff are also qualified at that level, right, to have that early intervention.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. And what's exciting for us is that I have a safeguarding network and we do lots of CPD and training. Actually, one of our team has just enrolled in the course and had their first day of learning yesterday. And they're so excited because they are very passionate about, keeping our learners safe. And now this pathway for them means that, they can be me in a few years' time, which will be really exciting for them, as well as for businesses and the industry.
yeah, no, absolutely. And actually that's come up in a question actually from a member of the audience that said, what would you say is the next pathway after the level 3 for safeguarding? So obviously this is the first time we've seen a funded option, right? But but you just mentioned it there. So anybody that completes this program, they're part of that safeguarding team, that safeguarding network. But eventually in the future, do you think they can probably become a DSL maybe, or a DSO?
Yeah, I think so. And I would hope that we see in a few years' time the recognition that the TA pathway has with a higher level, level five TA, etc. So I would hope that they would be, that next level, because for some of us, we to do this particular course. Whereas, we were like individuals like myself who are DSLs, we would love to be able to have that opportunity. So I think for the pathway, it just strengthens that compliance in regards to your
Mm.
governance, on your single central record, particularly in education and childcare, to be able to say, yes, we actually have a fully qualified who's undertaken this apprenticeship and this standard. And I think we'll see that in a couple of years. Oh, we do.
Yeah,
That would be
I
great.
think it would make sense because this is a level three, right? So I think hopefully in the future there will be that level five option potentially, which is more for your kind of DSL and your safeguarding leads. But this is a really great first step for the sector.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Um, Brilliant. So somebody just asked as well, just for clarity, can existing staff complete this? Absolutely. So this is certainly for your existing staff members as well. There's no age restrictions, although they must be at least 16 and above. Okay, so they must have left school to be an apprentice. We have apprentices that are, and I think people think about apprenticeships and think, oh, 16 to 18-year-olds, right? But actually, we have apprentices that are 30, 40, 50, some are actually 60 plus as well, which I think is the great thing about apprenticeship programs, especially when we get a program like this as well. Um, we just had somebody ask as well, they're already a DSL. Is this program suitable for them?
I would say that what we would need to do is to go through what we call a skill scan. Um, but I think it's with everybody. Nobody should be stopped that opportunity from gaining this qualification. So I think, reach out to us, have that discussion, let's do the skills scan, and yeah, let's get everybody qualified.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then so Anita, so obviously you've got loads of experience now, leading a national safeguarding team. You led LMP Group to get that gold standard as well in terms of safeguarding. So based on your experience in safeguarding, what key skills or qualities do you believe are most important for apprentices to develop through this program?
Oh, I think for this particular qualification, and it was one of the behaviours is actually empathy and compassion. I always say in our staff induction, all of our core values actually fit with what we do in the safeguarding network team. Understanding of governance, so that could be your industry governance, it could be your local authority, it could be, as easy as your policies and procedures. If you don't have, governance linked to the business industry that you're in,
Mm.
I think collaboration. So, one of the key things is that, demonstrating that you can collaborate with your peers, but also with your group of learners. I think that, the other apprentices that you're going to be part of, and keep calm. Sometimes it's all about active listening and just keeping calm when you are dealing with situation. I just saw in the chat somebody needed to go because they had to deal with an issue, and that is life. It's probably a lot of people, particularly in education, half term, you guarantee a Friday, you will always get some kind of referral needed. So it's about, using those skills for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely, totally agree. So I've just stopped sharing then, so we're on camera now, which is good because the questions are flying in. So thank you for the questions. We will try and get through many of these as we can. Somebody just asked, a master's degree in safeguarding already. So I think just to kind of note as well. So if you already hold a degree in safeguarding, then this level 3 in safeguarding wouldn't be right for you. So it's fine to hold a degree, by the way, and do an apprenticeship, but it must be in a different subject area to the one that the apprenticeship is in. I know Anita mentioned those knowledge, skills, and behaviours earlier. It's really important for us that we can actually demonstrate that you're going to gain new knowledge, skills, and behaviours. So if you've already got a degree, that's this program is not going to be right for you. If you've got a degree in safeguarding, I must add. So Anita, the role of head of safeguarding, but a safeguarding support officer as well. Like you said, there's always things that might fly into the inbox that you have to deal with straight away. Can you share maybe a real life safeguarding challenge that you might have faced? Obviously, no names, and how the training in this program might help prepare potential applicants on the program for similar situations.
Yeah, sure. And I think as you explained, my role, I cover individuals from age of 5 right up. I think it was 67 was our oldest apprentice that got our
Mm,
HR level 5 qualification last year. I think it's what meets threshold. And for those, I know there's a few individuals that are already involved in safeguarding, and threshold is a real hard thing to meet in some business areas, purely because that threshold keeps getting higher, and that could be out of your control. But an
mm,
example I can give you is that when an employer reaches out to say that they're a bit concerned about their apprentice, they're coming in a little bit unkept, and then they've had some sort of informal kind of disclosures around body odor and not really very much at lunchtime, the early signs of neglect. Recently had a 16-year-old who had actually was sofa surfing because universal credits had been impacted by them coming onto an apprenticeship, and the adults in the house had asked the individual to leave, and therefore they were sofa surfing. So we're then involved with, well, they're under the age of 18. We need to get local authority involved, our agency. So it can be different for everybody. In sporting organisations, you might have somebody who is shouting a little bit more at a child, and that might be their way of coaching, but actually it might be a little bit more to that. So this is why this network will be great for the apprentices, because they'll be able to share best practice and understand safeguarding in different businesses and
mm.
different industries.
No, absolutely. No, brilliant, brilliant. And again, the questions are flying in, so I'm going to try to do my best to kind of
I can see them
keep
too.
asking them for you. Um, so in regards to, I know there's been a few questions actually that have come up around people that have gone into DSL training before. Some have done level 2 and level 3, sort of, I don't know, smaller certificates maybe in safeguarding that only take maybe a day course, whatever it might be. But how does this program compare to other training programs that you've encountered in your career? And what makes this one stand out?
I think it's quite, when I say the word intense, the content that has been, written, and,
Mm,
the collaboration between, the assignment briefs, the tasks, the ways of gaining evidence, as an example. So when we do a 1 day, we just touch on points. Whereas this, we're looking at those 15 duties, they're broken down into, those assignment briefs as such. And we really want to get to the bones of, what does that mean? How does it impact our industry? What does it mean to go outside our industry? Working with agencies. So, with the certificates, I saw a comment a minute ago. Where your company have paid for you, or you've paid to go 1 day or 2 day, or it's just with a private company and they've issued you a certificate. That's fantastic. But what this is, it's a government funded qualification. And it's, as an example, it's like getting an A level, it's like getting your GCSE. So, it's slightly, well, it's equal to an A level, really, isn't it? A level three. So, it's government funded. So if you've done a government funded safeguarding course where, it's drawn from the levy, then we would then have to explore. However, if you haven't, then just get signed up because it is going to be such a great qualification to have on your
Mm.
CV.
Yeah, no, I think it's a really good point, right, as well, because, even here at LMP, every year, all of our employees, they do a safeguarding online course, right? And I think a lot of people maybe on the session right now, you're probably thinking, actually, my team do that course or that kind of refresher course, every year. So absolutely right. Look at what we would do as part of that enrollment process is we would look at what training your team already have. They're going to have had training in safeguarding, absolutely, right, to do their role as it is. But we would actually look at that training and see actually, have you covered off some of those knowledge, skills, and behaviors already? And if so, we would then develop the program around that individual to make sure you're getting some good new knowledge and skills. And I think it's a really good point about, the safeguarding DSL training that we see where it's a 1 day program. There's nowhere near enough time to go into real depth, right, when it comes to safeguarding kind of topics and experiences. And I guess that's what this program does. It gives you
Yeah,
that time over the course duration of 13, 14 months, whatever it might be, to actually really deep dive into those safeguarding examples, strategies you can put in place to
yeah.
make sure that you can deal with those concerns as they come in, right?
Yeah, and also it's not just about, safeguarding as the word safeguarding, but the course actually looks at the prevent duty. It
Mm,
also looks at online, online safety. The latest statistics say that, online grooming for children, which is under 18s, has increased by 89% in the last 6 years. So, what's the impact of online chat rooms? So it's not just about our traditional safeguarding. We've got Martin's Law coming in like everybody where you're hiring out your facilities as an example. So it's understanding, talking about it, but actually asking that individual, go away, will that impact your school if you're hiring your facilities? If you're a hotel, will that impact you? And, getting that individual to really look at, the world of safeguarding.
yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. Very exciting, actually. That we've got this funded option now. Because like I said before, they're normally what we see a lot of are these kind of short courses that are online, takes a day, takes a few hours maybe as a refresher. So really exciting for the sector, I think, in terms of raising the standard of safeguarding, not just in schools, but also organizations that are out there as well. Somebody has asked about frequency of webinars. So those webinars, those a term. So we try and do at least one a term. So you get 4 to 5 of those throughout the program. They are at their, variety of times. If you can't make it, don't worry. They are recorded as well for you to watch back as part of the program. But also as part of the program, you do get a dedicated tutor as well. And that tutor is there to carry out learning reviews with you. They're there to support you with your assignments, your modules that you work through. They might hold small group sessions. And I think the other thing I forgot to mention about Anita as well is not only is she our safeguarding lead, she also used to be a tutor as well, right? So is that a fair summary of the support they might get from a tutor as well on the program?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's one additional, if anybody does have any additional learning needs,
Yeah.
we also have a team, particularly who are dedicated to be able to support that. If we have young learners, and for all of our programs who are 16 to 18, we also have, extra support put in place for them. But, the community of this particular qualification. So,
Mm.
the individuals taking part, we want to, I'll be encouraging a community, sort of coming together, particularly with the cohorts, what help and support, do we have they found something that's an absolute piece of evidence gold? How can that be inputted into another industry? Because we need to recognise that it's not just about education, childcare, care. We have sporting affiliations that have their own safeguarding sort of systems and policies and procedures. So, we're embracing all of that knowledge into one group really. And I'm really, as you can tell, I'm very excited.
That is very exciting. And then so again, a few more questions have come up. So keep the questions coming, guys. So do you have to be employed to be part of this program? Yes. So the way an apprenticeship works, for those that missed the very start as well, is this program is funded through the apprenticeship funding system for England. So if you have to be employed firstly, and then what we do is we get in contact with your employer and we draw the funds either through their apprenticeship levy pot, which is a pot of money that can be used to pay for this program. If you're not a levy payer, don't worry, it moves to the co-investment model where the government actually funds 95% of the course as well. So unfortunately, if you're an applicant and you're not yet employed, don't worry, reach out to us because our employers might start having some vacancies now for this role as well. And we've got a big recruitment team that would then help you to get a role within a safeguarding team, whether it be in a school, a business, a organisation, whatever it might be in there as well. Cool. So I'm just having a quick look through the Q&A as well. So in terms of career progression then, so I think, we spoke about EPA, so endpoint assessment. We always look at the end of a program at the very start. So in terms of this program then, so what kind of career progression opportunities do you think are available once you've completed this level 3 safeguarding support officer program?
So I think what it will allow is that it would allow individuals to maybe come out of their industry that they're currently in. So if, for example, you're in childcare and you want to go into mainstream education, it would allow opportunity to progress to a DSL maybe, particularly if
Yeah.
that pathway hasn't been created as such. It also gives you an insight to like as I said, other industries. But DSLs are like a unique bunch of people. Unique, it's a unique business area, and anything to do with servicing the public. You may go in to work with the NHS. The NHS has so many different areas of where safeguarding may be needed. So, the pathway to go to the next step, it's just immense because it can take you wherever, there is safeguarding, to be honest. But what you're going to go with is a formal qualification. You're going to go somewhere with the equivalent of an A level, a level 3 formal qualification.
Yeah, no, amazing. Um, and then so in regards to that then, so from your perspective, and obviously the experience that I've spoken about today, um, how do you think that kind of safeguarding professional role has evolved over the years? Obviously, we've seen the change. Well, I've certainly seen a change. I know the team here at LMP has seen a change since the impact of COVID as well, and the kind of volume of concerns that have increased. So I personally think that the government and also the sector has created this apprenticeship standard to be able to train more individuals up to become safeguarding support officers to grow those safeguarding teams within organisations. But from your perspective, how do you think the roles evolved over the last 3-4 years?
I think that, and hopefully there'll be many people that will give me the thumbs up. I mean, back in the day, you only needed to know about really 4 types of safeguarding, types of abuse. Whereas now, if I think about, keeping children safe in education document, the
Mm,
list of different types of concerns and understanding. And I think safeguarding is involved so much and it plays such a heavy part in inspection, particularly with Ofsted. And this qualification, as mentioned earlier, will support how important
Mm,
safeguarding is, but also, you know, individuals to showcase the investment that they're making in their staff by allowing their staff to undertake this apprenticeship. An apprenticeship is for everybody, and you know, at the end of it, you will have a formal level 3 qualification, but also in that you'll be able to share your knowledge to your peers, you know, and hopefully that, as we call it here in LMP, you know, our culture of concern. We have
mm.
an immense culture of concern. And only yesterday, I was visiting two under 18 learners who are early years learners, and they actually were talking about some of the, we do a hot topic, and the hot topics are created with QR codes. I've got to love a QR code, but they were
Yeah.
talking about, you know, money mules. They had no idea what that was. And actually, one of them was really worried because of their bank account, you know, if they'd had these strange transactions, and they actually used the QR code, you know, got some information, spoke to their bank, and you know, and these are individuals that were 16 and 17 that, you know, were telling me that, you know, the impact that that had, and that's the impact that we want. And you know, that wasn't about, you know, sexual harassment. It wasn't about, you know, neglect. It wasn't neglect by others. It was just making them a little bit safer online and making them aware. So this qualification is just going to give you, you know, an overview of, you know, different types of safeguarding, types of
Mm.
concerns, and how to deal with them, but also for us to understand sectors that we don't normally work with, what the impact of safeguarding is for them.
Absolutely, absolutely, brilliant. Um, Last call for any more questions, by the way. So we're just coming to the end of the session now. I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody that has attended and has engaged with asking the questions. We're super excited about this program, and we really do think it's an amazing thing for the sector, especially the safeguarding community there as well. If you're roll this program out across my safeguarding team, obviously there is a QR code on there now. Please get in touch with that QR code, or drop us a quick email. Anita can actually come in and talk to your teams as well about the program in more depth if needed. So I know, Anita, you've been out to trusts, organisations, and actually going through this program in detail, so that we can almost map it into their safeguarding policies, which I think's been really good to see. We've also got a team of experts that can come out and talk to you about apprenticeships, about short course provisions, alternative education provision, you name it. We'd love to come and talk to you, as well. So, Anita, any last kind of thoughts before we finish there? I've just seen another question coming, which threw me off then. So, any other any other thoughts from you there before we wrap things up with a QR code? Because Anita loves QR codes as well, right?
I do love a QR code. And we have lots of hot topics that we, like all of our staff, we do every Monday morning a 15-minute hot topic. And with that hot topic, we have a selection of QR codes for signposting. You know, so whatever
Mm,
that topic is, there's lots of QR codes. So yeah, I do love a QR code.
yeah, absolutely. Um, Cool. Just a quick one now. So, okay, very exciting program. We'd love some of the staff to undertake. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, like I said, if you would like your staff, your safeguarding teams to undertake this training, please do reach out to us, for sure. Just one last question actually has come in from Jody. I'm not sure if we mentioned this, so I think it's key we do it. Is there anything that this course covers, Anita, that the DSL 1 day course or week course doesn't cover?
Yeah, I mean, if Jodie wants to reach out, I can go
Yeah.
through, like, you know, the depth of what is covered over each of those, you know, course
Yeah.
duties. And as mentioned, you know, those 1 day courses, we just talk about the headline, but we'll look at the rationale behind, you know, that duty, and how that impacts your, you know, your business area or your industry. So yeah, there's a lot more than just a 1 day a 1 day course. And anybody that's done any of the 1 day courses by some of these safeguarding gurus, they're fantastic. But actually, this allows you to go away and see how you can impact your own industry, where that impact is. So there's so much more because it's 12 months.
Yeah, no, no, absolutely, absolutely. So we're not trying to discredit any of the training that people have done already. That's amazing, and we do it ourselves here at LMP,
Yeah,
like I said. Um, but what we would do is just to kind of recap on that point as well, is we would look at the training you've already done, look at what you've gained from that already, as part of the enrolment process for this program as well. If you've gained too much knowledge, skills, behaviours, you've got a degree in safeguarding, um, then this program probably wouldn't be right for you. But I think it really is there, like Anita said, it's that 12 to kind of 13-month period where you're kind of developing your safeguarding knowledge and your skills, you're learning from experience and people and kind of industry experts throughout, and then you're going away back into to implement what you've learned, which is
yeah,
a really powerful thing to do. And that's why we here at LMP really believe in the power of apprenticeships, because it's not just a quick course, you kind of get your cert and you walk away from it. You really get to develop yourself in that industry, whether you're a teaching assistant, a manager, a safeguarding expert, whatever your career ambitions are. These programs really allow you and your staff to develop that way. And that kind of, I think that's all our questions gone there. And that kind of leads us to kind of say a massive thank you to everybody for joining. It is it's not the end of apprenticeship week, I'm told. It goes on till at least Sunday. It's a full week, but it's the end of our webinar series here at LMP. So just a massive thank you to everybody that's joined any of our sessions this week. We will be sending out the slides and the recording as well to everybody that registered. But Anita, thank you so much for your time as well. I know how busy you are in your role protecting LMP Group from a safeguarding point of view, all of our learners, our thousands of learners, and also our employees as well. But a massive thank you, everybody, and hopefully we can help and work with you guys soon. Thank you very much.